Okay, so let's look at these problems and work through these. So first we have a times a squared times a to the third power. So one thing we want to make sure we understand is that just like with the coefficients, all of these a's have coefficients of 1, and this a has has an exponent of a 1. So we just want to make sure we understand that part, that there's always an exponent 1 if you don't see an exponent, okay? So that gives us a, and we're going to apply the product rule. So we just do 1 plus 2 plus 3. So a to the sixth power. All right, then we have 2a squared b times 4ab squared. Now, please understand that all of these are multiplying together. So the 2 is multiplying to the a squared is multiplying to the b, the 4, the a, b squared, all of those are being multiplied together because there's no operations between them. So essentially, how can we write this in a more simplified form? Well, we can multiply the 2 and the 4 together. We can multiply the a squared and the a together, which essentially means condensing them to become what? A to the third power, so 2 plus a 1. And then b times b squared is a b to the 1 times a b to the second. So that's a b to the 1 plus 2, which is to the third power. So all of this is just simplifying. It's really just about condensing as much as we can, getting all of our like terms or our like components in these terms together. Because it's multiplication, we're not adding and subtracting. So it's just different. So we have to just pay attention to those types of things. So 6 times negative 3, because those are what I can multiply. So negative 18, and then x squared times the x to the fifth power. Well, that's a 2 plus a 5, so x to the seventh power. All right, here on 4, we have b cubed, b4, b7 times b, so that's a 1 there. So we're just going to do 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. So b to the 15th. That's it. All right, then we have 3 times negative 3, negative 27. X to the third times x to the fourth is x to the seventh power. So negative 27 x to the ninth. All right, now we're going to use this outside exponent here, and it's going to distribute to everybody. So like 2 squared, x squared times 2, y cubed times 2. So remember the power rule. So the outside exponent has to distribute to everybody inside. So 4 times x to the 4 times y to the 6th power. And that's it. Alright, next would be 5 cubed, x squared times 3, y 4 times 3. So 125, x to the 6, y to the 12th. And that's how you would do that. So let's pause and let's do 8 through 10. Okay, so on 8 we should have gotten 216, x 12, y to the 18th. On 9 we should have gotten 64, x to the ninth, y to the ninth, because it's 3 times 3, remember we're multiplying. And then 49, x squared, y squared. Alright, 11 through 15 we're using our quotient rule. So x cubed over x. So that essentially is x3 minus a 1. So x squared. Here, pay attention. You have numbers and then you have variables. So you should understand that here this was an invisible 1 dividing by a 1. Okay? So here it's an 18 divided by a negative 3. So we account for that. So it's going to give us a negative 6. And then c cubed over c squared gives us a c to the 1, which is just c. 13, 9 over negative 3 is negative 3. A cubed over a is a 3 minus a 1, so a squared. B5 over b squared is b3. 14. Negative 48 divided by negative 8. 6. C squared over C. D4 over D cubed. 22 over 2, 11. Y6 over Y, Y5. Z8 over Z negative 7. So let's look at this. It's an 8 minus a negative 7. So we have to account for that. Look at that. Double negative, which will give us Z15. Okay? All right. 16 will give us x to the 9th because 2 plus 7. Number 12 would be x to the 4th. Number 17 would be x to the 14th because it's 2 times 7 this time. Here would be a negative 2 to the 5th power, x4 times 5. So negative 32 x to the 20th. 2x cubed plus 7x cubed. So this is just combining like terms. This is just from like chapter 2. So we want to pay attention. We don't do anything with these exponents because we're not multiplying, we're not dividing. We're just combining like terms, which means 9x to the 3rd power. So we have to keep all of our old information fresh. 7 to the 0, 1. 8x to the 0. Pay attention here. The only base here is x. There's no parentheses around this. So it's 8 times a 1, which is 8. Negative 3 to the 4th power. It means negative 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Really, it's saying the opposite of 3 to the 4th. So the opposite of 3 to the 4th would be negative 81. This is saying negative 3 to the 4th power, which is negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, which is a positive 81. Okay, so pay attention to that. And that's where we're going to stop this one.